Hey guys, it's late at night and I've been doing my daily reflections of the day and all that, and I've been going through messages and comments saying how I'm able to play it off as everything is sunshine and rainbows. I honestly don't think I really have, but there's a few things with the immediate dentures that people just don't talk about. I've seen countless videos even before I had everything ripped out that when it came time to actually going through it, I'm just like, what the hell? Why didn't anyone tell me about this? And I don't know if it's just the fact that not wanting to gross people out, or people just honestly didn't go through it. But there's definitely a whole plethora of things that are a real thing that people just don't broadcast in their videos. So I'm gonna warn you ahead of time. A little vulgar and gross, to say the least. Number one, the saliva. Your dentures to your mouth are considered a foreign object, to say the least. So when they put them in there, your body kickstarts the saliva to initiate swallowing. It wants to swallow your dentures. Obviously, you're not going to, but your mouth wants to. Hence why you slobber uncontrollably and end up having to change your pillowcases several times a week because they're fucking gross. And it's just a fact of life. It does tone down. I'm not slobbering quite as much, but I notice that if I leave my mouth open a little bit too long, I start to drool. Not quite as bad as I used to. Number two, the liquid diet for the first couple of weeks. For the first week or two, you're literally going to be on a liquid diet. Drinkable soups, ice cream, slushies, pudding, what have you. It's gonna back you up. How can I put this without being completely vulgar? I don't think I can. You're not gonna take a shit for like a week. It's just point blank. You're not gonna be able to go back to eating your steak and your cereal and all that other fun stuff that you were or kind of were able to eat before you had all your teeth removed. It's just not going to work. Your mouth had gone through some serious shit. Whether you have stitches, which I never had, they just left them open. So I'm kind of thankful they did, because I've heard some horror stories about stitches and dentures. I'm glad, to say the least. And the first couple days is disgusting. Of course, I tell you, if you do end up with immediate dentures, to leave them in for 2 to 3 days. Mine didn't. Mine said about 24 hours. But from what I've gathered, most dentists say about 2 to 3 days. That first time you take out your dentures, it is disgusting. All that slime, blood, what have you. It's not pretty, to say the least. It's not pretty at all. It's disgusting, it stinks, it tastes foul, the whole 9 yards. What I kind of did was not take out the denture completely. I just kind of dislodged it. And I put some mildly warm to slightly hot salt water in, swished it around, spit out the nasty, and put it back in. It kind of controls the slime. I don't know what else to call it, but it's pretty much bloody bacteria-filled slime. Because 9 times out of 10, if you had all your teeth removed, there was some serious infection in your mouth that attributed to the decay and rotting of your teeth. And once those teeth are removed, all that shit's gonna drain. And with dentures, it's gonna get stuck. Because for the first couple days, everything is super snug because swelling is kicking in, and that denture is going to fit really, really good. Therefore, it's all going to pool, and when you take it out, it's less than aesthetically pleasing. So several times a day, maybe every 2, 3, 4 hours, that's what I did. Dislodged it a little bit, put a little salt water in there, and kind of controlled it a little bit. There was still slime, it just wasn't the mass quantities. Another thing people don't usually talk about is the whole sore spot thing. I've seen countless videos where everyone's all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorn farts. But sore spots are a thing. It is a thing, especially in here. See where I got a little, they cut out a piece to help control the spots, and I haven't really had any sore spots there since. But I've had them here, here, and as well as my upper lip. The sore spots are inevitable. It's gonna happen. Your body's not used to having a hunk of plastic inside your gum line. It's gonna rub, especially once it isn't as tightly fitting as when you first got them. Honestly, I wish my dentures were as tight as they were before. A month ago when I had them done, I would not have been saying that. They were incredibly tight and there was a lot of pressure. But in hindsight, I wish they still were. Even with the reline, they fit. They're not falling out left and right like they were before the reline, but if I have no glue in my mouth, this bottom plate, it just kind of flops all over the place when I'm chewing. It's not comfortable for one, just considering that my gums are still healing. They are a shit ton better than they were, but they are definitely still sensitive. Another thing people do not talk about is the unpleasant effect of the bone slivers. That is also a thing. It'll happen. You had all your teeth removed. Your teeth are held together by a very thin piece of bone and attaches to the jawbone. They rip that out. They bust open that protective casing, to say the least. It pretty much cases your teeth inside your jaw. But when they're gone, that bone usually flaps back down on top of your jawbone, and that's the end of it. But sometimes they want to be a pain in the ass and pop through your gums. It honestly feels like you're teething all over again. I've got an incredible sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Not really respect, but empathy for teething toddlers. They are the real MVPs, I'm telling you. I understand why they are so grumpy and inconsolable for months on end. I get it. Because I've got a couple up here and down here that are making their way through, and it's just like, oh my god, it needs to go. Especially this bottom one right here, because I don't know if you guys remember from a previous video, when I had these teeth right here removed, they were abscessed out and they fused my jaw. And this very last one that I actually felt ripped them out, it took by the way, it took 2 dentists to get that tooth out because his hand was cramping. He almost told me to come back in a couple weeks with some heavy antibiotics and try it again. Luckily, there was another dentist in the office that was willing to lend a hand. But basically, that tooth right there did not come entirely out. It snapped in half. So basically, you figure your tooth is about yay big in that area because it's a molar. It basically just took off that top piece and the root, but the midsection and the root down was still lodged into my jaw. And as everything has shrunk, I can now see that little piece in its decayed glory. And honestly, I am fucking terrified about going in there and having that removed. Just because I remember how big of a pain in the ass that tooth was to come out to begin with. I am not looking forward to it at all. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to. Benzodent and Orajel are my favorite things for that spot. It keeps it nice and numb and it still rubs, but I can't feel it. I would take them out and show you just because it does look kind of cool, but it's not quite time to take my teeth out yet, and I still want to eat some before bed. But bone slivers are a real thing, and they will continue to be a real thing until your mouth is just about entirely healed. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dentures, a New Smile forum. I've got a couple friends on there that they're about a year out from their extraction date, and they still get the occasional, "Hello, I'm a bone sliver." There's no way around it. Some people don't get them. Some people get thousands. Some only get one here or there. Some get tiny ones. Some get major ones. And a couple of videos later, I told you about one I had up here. That fucker was like that long when he pulled it out of my mouth. I've had some pretty wicked bone slivers. But I also have a couple that are on the other side of that major one that haven't really done anything in the last month. They popped up, I think, about a week or two in to getting my teeth. And they haven't gotten bigger, they haven't gone away, they just kind of just hang out. But I've noticed that, I don't know if it's just getting bigger or my gum is just continuing to shrink, but the piece that sticks out is a little bit more visible. It's the same size. I don't think it's moved, but I think just my gum is receding, so it's a little bit more obvious. And I've tried taking a pair of tweezers, see if I can kind of weasel it out, and that little guy is pretty stuck. I have a feeling that it might be attached, the massive one, in my jaw. And if that's the case, Lord help me. I don't have an appointment again until I think the first week of November. And I'm kind of dreading him seeing that because he's going to want to pull it out. And he told me any broken pieces of teeth that were still in my mouth, because there was a couple that completely just snapped in half and never got the root out. And he said once those resurfaced that he would remove them for free. But all the other ones, they came right out and I didn't feel anything, so I'm not too worried about those making their way out. It's this guy right here that caused me insane trauma. Out of that entire extraction day, that's the only tooth I remember. And ever since then, this entire lower jaw area has been not really hurting per se, it's just more sensitive. And if I chew on that side, it tends to get a little sore. So I've been tending to favor this side of my mouth when it comes to chewing. I haven't really had any issues with the rocking, because I cement those babies in pretty well. Minus today, they're a little loose. Because I did take them out this afternoon, because again, that spot was killing me. It was, yeah. So I took them out. So naturally, after I took them out, hey, I'm hungry. Of course, that's what's always got to happen. But I finally put them back in to eat some popcorn at about, I think it was like 6 or 7 tonight, and I didn't really focus too hard on making sure they were cemented in because I knew they were just gonna come out again in a couple hours. So I didn't put in as much powder as I normally do. And let me tell you, I could tell the difference. Something as soft as popcorn, my bottom plate is just like, flopping, and my top plate is flopping. They're definitely rocking. But, by no means has this last month been sunshine, rainbows, and unicorn farts. It's been a pain in the ass. I wouldn't say it's been shitty the entire time, but there was a few days where I had gone several days without any pain, discomfort, nothing, and it just seemed like everything regressed. I was in pain. I couldn't keep my dentures in to save my life. It seemed like the glue was not holding, and there was a couple nights where I accidentally fell asleep with them in. I fell asleep on the couch watching a movie a couple nights, and when I woke up the next morning, taking out the dentures, they came out super easy, but that glue was so nasty. I don't know how people leave them in for 3-4 days and then take them out and then put them directly back in. No, I can't do it. And I asked my dentist about that, about just taking them out, rinsing them, and putting them back in. Because I have a friend that's also got dentures also, and she's always complaining about how her dentures don't fit. And she got her permanent set back in, I want to say it was July or August. And ever since then, she started out being able to eat and bite corn on the cob and all that, but as time progressed, it just stopped happening. Like, she couldn't eat chicken off a bone, she couldn't bite anything without her dentures popping out. And I raised a question about that at my last reline. I can't stress this enough. Your gums need air. They need time to rest. They need air. Point blank. It's kind of like leaving on a wet sock. You know how your foot gets all wrinkly? That's the same kind of thing that's going to happen with your gums. If you leave them waterlogged all the time, they're going to shrink abnormally and they're going to get wrinkly. It sounds gross, but it's a real thing. The air helps your gums puff back out and regains all of its form. Especially after you get out of a tub for a long time and your hands are all wrinkly, but as time goes by, your fingertips plump back up. Same thing with your gums. For the life of me, I do not understand how people can wear them days upon days by just rinsing them out and then shoving them back in their mouth. One, your dentures need to be deep cleaned. Rinsing them out and shoving them back in your mouth is not cleaning them. That's rinsing them off. Water alone is not going to get rid of the bacteria. So you're going to have a classic case of denture breath, like, all the time, which is not attractive at all. And two, you're not giving your gums the break they need. I can't imagine sleeping with my dentures in on a regular basis. Taking my teeth out is like the highlight of my day. It feels amazing. It's almost as good as taking my bra off for the day. Men, now you understand why we love taking our bra off. Just so you know. If you're a male and you've got dentures and you take them out, you know how freaking awesome it feels? Same case with our bra. Now you know. And I told her this, and apparently her dentist told her that she can leave them in for days upon days upon days, and then rinse them off and clean them like once a week. What dentist tells you that? That's like a dentist telling you that you can only brush your teeth once a week and not get a cavity. That is not good advice by any means. I mean, you don't clean them on a regular basis, and with the denture cleanser that you're supposed to use daily, not only get rid of any food stains and food stuck in between teeth, the whole 9 yards, but all that bacteria that your mouth naturally grows underneath your palate, especially in the early days where your tooth infections and stuff are draining out of your gums. I'll never understand that. Maybe some of you can shed light on that for me, for those that you do leave them in for days on end. I personally can't do it. I tried it. I got about, 2-3 days in, and nothing fit. I was so pissed off because it didn't fit. I spent all this money on teeth that are supposed to fit, and they don't fit, and I'm trying to cut back on my glue that I use, especially since my next reline's coming up, and you said that the second one tends to last a little bit longer than the first one. My first reline lasted maybe a week. I was really upset about that, but I didn't pay for the reline, so I wasn't too heartbroken on it. I just glued them in like I always had. But in that first 3 days after the reline, when they were all still fitting really, really well, I decided that I would give the old, let's leave them in and sleep with them and basically be BFFs with my teeth. 3 days later, I put them in, and it was like the same case of when they got really loose before my reline. Put them in, they just fall back out again. That was the same case with the reline. I was not gonna lie, a little butthurt about that. I thought I had ruined my reline, but I left them out for a day and let everything breathe and be happy. And yeah, next day I put them in and they stayed. So, bottom line is your gums need air. Taking them out and sleeping naked, so to speak, is a good thing. Learn that. Again, I'm open to whoever does do that to shed some light on it. I like my teeth to fit. Just saying. But back to things that they don't talk about on YouTube with the media dentures. Another thing is intimacy. Those of you who are dating / married / in a committed relationship, kissing is gonna also, along with eating, needs to be relearned. Your kissy face is a little bit different than with natural teeth or without teeth. I find that without my teeth, I can make kissy faces no big deal. But with my dentures, it doesn't look right. And it's gotten better as the dentures have settled into their permanent location. But I've also noticed that I make a kissy face. You can see my dentures. Hot. And as far as intimacy goes, not gonna sugarcoat it. Oral sex is gonna be different. Very different. I have found it easier if I just rip them out and go to town. I haven't quite mastered the whole leaving them in and going to town, because I am terrified that A, they're gonna go flying out of my mouth, or B, I'm gonna end up, like chomping down, and that I'd feel like an asshole. So if doing it with teeth in works for you, party on, message me, tell me your secrets. But I have found it's a lot easier to just swish my water and rip them out of my head, and then go back to business, so to speak. But they don't tell you that. Very few videos will really explain that. I've seen plenty of intimacy with dentures, and it wasn't the information I was looking for, so to speak. But along with the eating and the talking and basically everything having to do with your mouth, it's a relearning process. And sex with dentures is another one of those things. And most of the videos I've seen, they've claimed that it's, hey, I'm gonna tell you how to give a blowjob with dentures. But then they go to say, sex is a private thing. I'm not gonna go get too deep into it. Why make the video? It's a natural thing. I'm not one to be shy on the whole topic. If you're in a committed relationship and you're having sex, chances are that activity is going down. Everybody knows it. Chances are everyone's done it. We're all grown adults. I think we can handle it. The only place that I have found that I get the information that I'm really looking for without it being sugar-coated is on the Dentures New Smile forum. There's a whole section on the website for mature content, with hundreds upon hundreds of posts about kissing, oral sex, the whole thing, with and without your dentures. So far, that has been the only place that I have found the answers to the questions I've been looking for. And if you have dentures or getting dentures, I would highly recommend just checking out the website to begin with. It has helped me a lot. It's been really, really insightful. Everyone there has them or is getting them. So it's pretty much a place where you can bitch about them and they know exactly what you're going through. I can sit here and bitch all day long to my husband, my dad, my mom, the whole 9 yards, but none of them have gone through this. So they listen, but they obviously don't know what exactly I'm going through, because they haven't been through it themselves. So, again, yeah, it's denturesanewsmile.ning.com. And I will go ahead and post the link down below in the comments. But I apologize if my channel has come off as it's all been easy and pain-free and the whole 9 yards, because it really hasn't. I'm just not one to piss and moan about it, but if I've come off like that, I apologize. I understand that's not exactly a accurate representation of what actually goes on, because honestly, it wasn't. And another thing they don't tell you is that first week, you're not getting jack shit for sleep. I think like the first like 3 or 4 days, even though I was so strung out on painkillers, I still wasn't getting sleep. I was sleeping, just not good and for very long. I think I'd sleep for maybe 2-3 hours, have to spit my mouth out because it was still drooling blood and stuff. And not only that, you're swollen, you're in pain, and you got so much pressure going on because your dentures. And I noticed in the first couple of days that if I didn't have my teeth in, I didn't have any pain. And the minute I put them back in, it instantly put that pressure back on it and it started to hurt again. So I can only imagine what it's like for someone that's got a mouthful of stitches. That's some serious pressure. And not to mention uncomfortable. No. But, yeah, for the first 5-6 days, I didn't sleep well. I was very tired, I was grumpy, I was sore. And I'll be blank, I was a bitch. I was very grumpy and hard to be around. But surprisingly, it improved like day and night. I was really happy. And yeah, I still had my issues, but it wasn't the constant pain that I had that week prior. So again, I really do apologize if I have come off as sunshine and rainbows, but my goal wasn't to come on the internet, get on my soapbox, and cry and bitch about my problems. But I guess from now on, I'll be a little bit more straightforward about everything and try to be a little bit more real. But thanks for watching, and I will try to make another video here soon. But as far as updates goes, it's pretty much the same stuff, different day at this point. I wake up, I put my teeth in, I continue my day, I take them out, I go to bed. But I do have an appointment again here in about 3 weeks. So it might be about 2 or 3 weeks again before I make another video. But again, as always, feel free to comment, message, what have you, if you have any questions, blah, blah, blah. But it's about midnight, so I think I'm gonna go to bed. You guys have a great night, and smile.